Will, how are you?
I'm good. How are
Good.
you
You
doing?
just out of class?
Just got to
Oh, just
workouts.
out of workouts. Okay.
Yeah.
So talk about how it's going now that you've been able to be together with, in a year of change for your program. You're now a sitting veteran. How's it
Yeah.
been getting everybody together with this new coach?
It's been great to get on the field with the coaches finally, with the players, finally get some chemistry going, and just getting everybody on the same page and getting ready for UCLA. So it's definitely been a blessing. Glad to be back on the field and can't wait for week one.
And so as a guy who's been around, now you've played a lot of games for the Buffs. How have the players tried to take on that issue of trying to build that chemistry?
Definitely. I mean, just everybody, being vulnerable, opening up to one another, and just being transparent and, just trying to making an effort really to get to know one another. And then, just taking that onto the field, building trust, knowing that, this person is going to, take care of their job and I'm going to take care of mine. So it's just really a trust factor and just getting to know one another a lot more.
Well, how'd that work out when back in the spring when this change was happening and you guys were in that difficult period of limbo there for a short period of time? As players, how did you all handle that?
It was definitely difficult, but I mean, just really through Zoom meetings and, just keeping in touch is really just how we stayed connected.
So let's talk about you. You're moving again.
Yes, I am.
You're a pretty versatile guy, I understand, huh?
Yeah, that's the goal.
So you're moving back from you were left tackle, last year right tackle, award winner on the team, now back to the left side. What how we look at it and we go, come on, that's crazy. What's it like for you to actually do it?
I'm excited about it. Playing left in 2018, had a lot of room to grow, but when moving to the right, it was a challenge that I was extremely excited about. And, just coming back to the left, I'm excited, to be the anchor of the offensive line and protect whoever is back there at quarterback.
Mm-hmm. So give us the football ease. What's the difference between the two positions?
Really just knowing, you have to protect the quarterback a little bit more just because you can't see. So just a lot more responsibility, a lot of pressure, but pressure is a privilege. So I'm excited for that.
Right. So the blind side is a real deal.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It still is. Well, you won the Offensive Trench Award last year. Tell us what that is.
So it's really just giving out to, the best offensive lineman here at CU. And, the offensive lineman who is the most consistent and works the hardest throughout the year. So it was, definitely an honor to be able to win that.
Yeah. And I assume that part of that means the quarterback buys you dinner, right?
I wish.
Come on, call Montez up and tell him he owes you one.
I know. I should have.
So for the group, because we all, I think all of us understand how important it is for an offensive line group together, another new coach, and that's a challenge for you. Talk about how that's evolved for your offensive line group.
Definitely. I mean, every coach has a certain way of coaching, and teaching. But I mean, really, we talked with one another, just all offensive linemen. And might I add, since I've been here, I feel like this is the most depth, and size we've had on the O-line. So, I mean, seeing that, we know how talented we are and, how successful we can be. So it was really just, talking to one another and telling each other, it's on us. The success of this team is on us. And, we have to make whoever is playing quarterback as comfortable as possible just because, we have an experienced quarterback. So it's just, gathering with one another, all being on the same page and protecting whoever's back there.
That's a great charge to take on as an offensive line group. So now you've been there. You've had Cepho and Steven Montez. You've had two very experienced quarterbacks. So give us your sense of how you feel the next person to emerge. Are you confident that CU is going to have that next really strong leading quarterback?
Definitely. The three guys that we have competing right now are all doing a great job, and I'm excited, for whoever's back there. But like I said, really, it's on us, everybody, all their 10 guys, receivers, running backs, tight ends, and the O-line, to just make them feel as comfortable as possible and just make them look good.
Yeah. And tell us, because again, in the offense, obviously Laviska, we all know what a great player he was. He's moved on. You got Katie Nixon to come back. Talk about that in the receiving corps.
Oh, yeah. Receiving corps is looking great. We have Katie, Jalen Jackson, who's a really good receiver, Brendan Rice, who's looking really good as a freshman, Daniel Arias, and a lot of others stepping up and fighting for playing time. So whenever you have competition and a lot of guys competing,
Mhm.
things are going to be good.
And last one, will tell us a little bit about Carl Durrell, because some of us remember him. Some of us really can remember him playing. Others remember him coaching at UCLA a long time ago. Your generation obviously doesn't know that. Give us an idea of what you've sensed getting to know Coach Durrell.
One of the biggest things is he's just really real with you and transparent and honest. And, that's big for us, all the players here. Having 3 head coaches in 4 years, trust is a big factor. And Coach Durrell is, you can tell he's the real deal. And he has a lot of faith in us, and we have a lot of trust and faith in him.
So it's great. So Will, you talked about him as a leader, but I get the sense you feel like your team, because you don't have a lot of upper class, but what you do is you guys have been through a lot. You feel like there's a strong leadership group there.
Definitely a lot of strong leadership. And, we all are on the same page right now. A coach isn't going to take us to the Pac-12 championship or the national championship. We make the plays. We decide, where the success of this team is headed. So it's definitely a player-driven team this year.
All right. Well, Will, thanks for doing that. I'm going to turn things back to Jesse.
Okay, thanks, Ted. As a reminder, if any media have questions, use the raise hand function to get into the queue. We'll go to Brian Howell, Boulder Daily Camera, to lead us off.
Hey, Will, it's nice to see you. I'm curious your impressions of Coach Rodriguez at this point. He's your 3rd offensive line coach in the last 3 seasons. And how does he coach you guys differently than what you've seen in the previous 2 years?
Something in similar with Coach Cap is, they have a huge emphasis on running the ball. So, a lot of similarities to him and Coach Cap being a physical line, just moving men against their will is, a huge emphasis in our room.
And is there a difference in the technique at all, or what you guys are having to learn up front?
No, not too much. It's pretty much all the same.
And then just in general, that quarterback competition, what are your impressions of it, playing in front of those guys over the last 11 practices?
Yeah, every day, every single one of them is trying to get better. And you can tell, from day 1 to day 11, they've all progressed so much, and they've all just looked really, really good. So I'm excited to see whoever it is who's back there.
Great. Thanks, Will.
Okay, next question will come from Justin Michael Guerrero, the CU Independent.
Will, hope you're well. Thanks for your time, man. Just when you look at this offensive line group as a whole, and now with more and more padded practices under your belt, just having that kind of combination of guys like yourself, Kari, Colby, experienced guys, and also a few others who don't have a lot of snaps under their belt competing for playing time. As a position group, do you guys feel like you're taking steps in the right direction every day, or have maybe some days been better than other? Just how have you guys practiced together, and what's your evaluation of you guys as a unit thus far into practice?
So far, I think, we've gotten better every single day, and that's something that I'm really excited about because, like I said, since I've been here, this is the most depth, size that I've seen. So, I know whoever the starting 5 ends up being, it's going to be a committed group who's consistent, extremely hardworking, and, just loves to play hard because, that's the way we've been practicing for 11 days, and I'm excited about that.
And Will, I remember last year, Coach Cap singled you out in particular about a year's time ago during, or not a little bit more than a year's time ago during last August camp is really being a leader, really being a guy who stepped up and was helping your fellow position players. What does leadership mean to you this year now that you're an upperclassman?
Definitely just, having the young guys just be on the same page as the older guys. I want the ones to look, or I want the threes to look just like the ones when they go out there. So, just having everybody, play at the high standard that we have and competing as hard as they can.
Thanks, Will.
Okay, next question will come from Kelsey Khaleesi-Ekberg, Cronkite PBS.
Thanks so much for your time, Will. With the crazy year we've been having, you've actually gotten an opportunity to be a viewer of college football Saturday, and maybe gotten a chance to watch teams you could potentially see later on in the season. Have you taken the time to watch? What's it been like? And have you learned anything from this late start?
Yes, I have been watching a lot of football, and it's been pretty interesting to see. A lot of teams that you think are going to win games have been losing games. So it just goes to show you that anyone can be successful this year, and everything is up for grabs. Is really what I've taken from it.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
Okay, reminder to media, if you have any questions, use the raise hand function to get into the queue. And we'll go back to Brian Howell.
Hey, Will, I just wanted to ask you, when your group came in, it was a pretty talented offensive line group when you were recruited, but it seems like that area has been improving. Have you seen that with like the younger group, especially the current freshmen, the current sophomores? Are you seeing more talent come in on the offensive line as you've been here?
Definitely. The 3 freshmen we have right now, are all playing really good, and I'm excited to see their futures. Because you can tell when a kid comes in, and it's their first fall camp, and they've just been going at it every single day, ready to compete, not complaining. So that's just a great thing to see. And kids like Carson Lee, Jared, Jake Wiley, Austin Johnson, all of them have been phenomenal this fall. So I'm excited for their future.
And then just one last one for me. Several coaches have talked about the depth on the defensive line. And so I'm curious what it's been like for you to try to block some of those guys, and who's really stood out in your mind, not just like Terrence and Mustafa, guys like that, but who's really kind of stood out for you?
On the other side of the ball, the D-line is also, a very stacked position, and I'm excited for that because trenches wins games. As far as, newcomers, I feel like Jamar Montgomery is playing really good. Jason Harris, the freshman, he's made some plays, so I'm excited to see, what he's like. Obviously Mustafa, Terrence, and Jalen Sammy are, doing their thing.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we'll go back to Justin Michael Guerrero.
Will, I realize at this point in time, you guys aren't even at the halfway point into fall camp, but in any way, shape, or form, have you guys maybe started to look outward a little bit in terms of preparation, even in a preliminary sense, towards that home opener versus UCLA? Or do you guys find yourselves at practice more so kind of just focusing inward and looking to get yourselves right?
Yeah, still looking inward right now, focusing on ourselves and trying to get better every single day.
William, thanks for your time. Appreciate you joining us this afternoon, and best of luck with the upcoming season.